Welcome to Into the Blue, a weekly look behind the scenes of the Tampa Bay Lightning with reporters Gabby, Shirley, and Ben Pierce.
Okay, hello, and welcome to another episode of Into the Blue. Gabby, Shirley here with Ben Pierce. I am coming at you from Ottawa. We are recording this on Wednesday morning. It will drop Thursday morning. Ben, you appear to be at your home in the Tampa area.
That is correct. We will be heading in as soon as we are done recording. So another, game every other day, the rest of the way through. So we are always working on something.
Yeah, it's busy. 8 games remaining in the regular season. Ben, I feel like I've said it for the last 3 weeks. I still just can't believe it. Playoffs are quickly approaching, and I am super excited. How about yourself? Considering this is your first season with the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Well, I mean, I'd have been excited for a playoff push to begin with, but you add in how crazy this Eastern Conference playoff race is starting to get. I mean, at the top, at that bottom wild card spot, it's like everybody, every single night is hoping for this team to win, this team to lose in overtime. I need 1 point from these guys. We have to do this. It's awesome. I'm absolutely loving it, and I can't wait to see where things turn out here.
You know what? That's a really good segue. We want to talk about the standings, specifically in the Atlantic Division. Now, I guess, Ben, we should say that they're going to change in some way.
Daily.
Yes. After the big game Wednesday night, Florida plays at Toronto. I personally cannot wait to tune in. But as it stands right now, Wednesday, Toronto in first place with 94 points. Tampa Bay in second with 93, Florida in third with 92. So, Ben, as you said, it's just crazy right now. It changes by the game, but I guess we are hoping, my understanding is that if Florida beats Toronto in regulation Wednesday and Tampa Bay beats Ottawa on Thursday, we move into first place.
There is a very real possibility that the Tampa Bay Lightning could be in first place in the Atlantic Division by the end of Thursday night. Now, obviously, like you said, the Panthers would have to beat the Maple Leafs in regulation. If that game goes to overtime, there is no way for the Lightning to be in first place, and that game is tonight. But yeah, if the Lightning take care of business then on Thursday night as well, we could be looking at a pretty nice-looking picture there. Now, the Maple Leafs and Panthers will play again yet this season. So that it's nuts, the amount of implications and things that are going on. But yes, Tampa Bay Lightning fans, as weird as it might sound, some of you tonight, a.k.a. Wednesday, so before you'll hear this, you might have been cheering for the Florida Panthers a day ago. So as weird as that is, as rare as that is, you do want to see the Florida Panthers take home a regulation win on Wednesday night, and hopefully the Tampa Bay Lightning can do just that the following night tonight on Thursday.
Ben, be honest with us. How often are you looking at the standings?
It's not good. It's not healthy. It's like, it's one of those
healthy.
deals where it's like, you hear people say, like, I'm addicted to social media. I think the NHL standings page, and honestly, NHL stats in general, they both might have me on, like, some sort of trigger warning. Like, look out. You're going to get an email from Ben Pierce with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he's going to ask you a stat question, and he's going to ask you a playoff clinching scenario question, and you just have to flag his emails from now on because you're going to get like 2 to 3 a day. So, it's way too often. It's unhealthy, but it makes it a lot more fun when you're in the division race. When you have a real chance at a division title, I don't have nearly as big of a problem as staring at the standings all day because it's a pretty picture to look at.
Ben, I'm right there with you, and this is why you are so good at your job. So I feel you. It is very exciting. I love this point in the season. And Ben, I don't know if I felt this way in the past. I hope, or maybe I was just on a high the whole time, but this being my 4th season with the Lightning, we hit like the 10 games remaining in the regular season mark, and I got this like crazy burst of energy. Like I am just so jazzed up for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it is my first one, so I'm sure it's a little bit different. But I actually had one of my good buddies growing up. We were talking the other day, and he's like, do you realize that there's a very real possibility that in 2 weeks you're going to be on the plane headed to a road playoff game working in the NHL? He's like, a year ago, you were covering high school baseball, 5 miles from where you grew up. He's like, think about that for a second. And it was kind of one of those like, yeah, this is pretty unbelievable. So yeah, I am absolutely jacked for my first playoff run. And I mean, not only us though, you can sense it in that room. Like like every practice right now, there is a lot of joking and kind of smiling. You can tell the energy is high that way. But they're intense practices, and the guys are going. Like it's been pretty high paced even in practice lately. And I think everybody's ready for this final push here for the regular season because the playoffs, they're basically here. They're coming quick.
8 games remaining in the regular season, 4 on the road, 4 on home ice for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Then we are in the last multi-game, lengthy road trip of the regular season here. 4 games on the road. The Tampa Bay Lightning took care of business against the Islanders on Tuesday. They have 3 more games here: Ottawa, Buffalo, New York Rangers. I like what I'm seeing from this team. They've won 4 straight, scored 23 goals, only allowed 5 goals. Victor Hedman said you take out that third period of the game against the Islanders. The first game, the Lightning have only allowed 2 goals over that stretch, the other 3 games. So they're playing really well. And it all starts, Ben, I feel like just the theme right now is it all starts on the defensive side of things. The Lightning keep saying it. We play good defense. That leads to some offense from us. I mean, what are you seeing from the Lightning defensively at this point in the season?
I mean, I'm seeing a lot of stuff you have to love. And I thought it was interesting to, how many times this last week, Gabby, have you or I asked one of the guys the question, how are you preparing for playoffs? Like, do the games feel like you're getting closer to playoffs? And the guys are all saying, like, it is different once you get to the playoffs. They've acknowledged that, but they said, like, yes, we are really trying to amp up our game to get to that level. And I thought Nick Paul last night post-game, when you asked him about the games right now and the way that the team is playing, I thought his answer was fantastic when he talked about the fact that, like, last night's game in particular, which was a fantastic 4-1 win over the New York Islanders, he said, we're just getting ready for the playoffs.
Yep.
As far as that defensive approach. And he said, like, if we can play hard defense, which means, yes, blocking shots, you might have to take a stick up high, you might have to make an ugly play in order to get the puck out. But he said, like, we want to play tough defense and we have to get better every game. And that's very clearly a focus. We're seeing it every single night. And I think, too, I've been impressed because that 11-7 formation, we're seeing a lot of guys play tough minutes, play extended minutes outside of even those top guys. And if the Lightning can find a way to keep stacking wins and getting production both offensively and defensively further down the lineup to maybe give some of their top guys, even if it's 2 minutes a night, maybe some time off, and they're more well-rested heading into the playoffs, I mean, nobody around the NHL outside of this locker room wants to see a healthy, refreshed Tampa Bay Lightning team. And I mean, they're motivated, and if you add that health, knock on wood aspect, look out, because this team is starting to really round into form.
Well said. You mentioned Nick Paul and his post-game quote there, Ben. We got to give a shout out. Nick Paul, Luke Glendening, the two of them have welcomed new babies into the world. Nick Paul was with the Tampa Bay Lightning to take off from Tampa to go on this road trip, so he made it. I believe his baby was born, let me check the calendar here, on Sunday morning, if I am not mistaken. So the Lightning left on Monday. So again, he was able to make that flight. Him and his wife welcomed their first baby. They had a little girl. Her name is Hartley. Love the name. Luke Glendening, him and his wife already have a little girl, so this is their second baby. I have no idea if they had boy or girl names, none of it. Luke Glendening missed the game against the New York Islanders, but I would assume he'd be joining the team at some point soon on this road trip. Again, it's Wednesday. The Lightning do not have practice, but perhaps I will see Luke Glendening at the morning skate on Thursday morning. And I'm going to ask him baby questions, Ben. I just gotta.
Yeah, well, that picture that was on the broadcast when they congratulated Nick Paul, just the sweetest little baby. I'm like, and I'd see the baby pictures to me are always, I'm like, yeah, it's a baby. They don't look that different. But that baby was adorable. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Cute
it was
baby.
Super, super, super cute. And I love the name Hartley too. That's actually my mother's maiden name. And so So Hartley, my wife, all of a sudden is getting ideas for the future. She's like, I might have to write that one down because she loves Nick Paul, and you add in the fact with the maiden name. So we'll see what happens there. But Molly instantly was like, I love that.
It's a great name.
It is. I thought it was super cool. Really unique and nice family touch. So cool.
Yeah, big fan. I believe he had told me he wasn't telling anyone the name, and he said it was like, I don't know if he used the word weird. Unique, I would think would be better, but I was a little anxious, like, oh my gosh, what did these two come up with? And yeah, it doesn't matter what I think, but I love the name. Okay. Anything else, Ben, we need to touch on in regards to just the remainder of this road trip?
I would just say these guys are motivated, and Coop has said before they left for the trip, he said, listen, of course he said, listen, we have to keep our home playing style going. I mean, last night's win has this team on a 4-game win streak, and those 3 games at home, like you said, outside of that one period against the Islanders was phenomenal, and they're really trying to take that home playing style with them on the road. They know the intensity they have to bring, and if they can duplicate the effort they had last night, I think they're going to like how this road trip ends. They're really focused here, and if they go to the playoffs, obviously half those games are going to be on the road. And Coop acknowledged that too. Like, we can play as good as we can at home, but we're going to have to win some games on the road in the playoffs, if we want to have that kind of success we're looking for. So really motivated, excited to see what they pull out here the rest of the way.
Talk about motivated. Our third and final topic here in this segment, Nikita Kucherov. He currently has the most points in the NHL, 111 of them in 70 games played. 9-game point streak, Ben, with 19 points over those 9 games, 13 points in the last 4 games. Again, you are new to Nikita Kucherov being on the team side this season, but does anything he does surprise you?
It's at the start of the year, I remember watching, and honestly, the way that he plays sometimes, I think he kind of gets lost in the shuffle intentionally, right? Like, you see the ice, and Kucherov does such a good job of finding open and soft ice that sometimes you're so focused on the puck and you're seeing this battle, and all of a sudden, Kucherov has the puck and he's wide open. And you're like, where did he come from? And it's because he's so smart that he can see a play sometimes before it happens. And I think I knew the talent that he had with the puck, but I think the one thing that really has impressed me this season is just his ability to find that open ice. And he's doing it against the top players in the NHL every single night. Whether it's forwards, defensemen, he's playing against the top matchup every single night. And at least twice a game, I feel like I'm like, how did they let Kucherov get that wide open? And it's not even sometimes a defensive miscue. It's just the fact that Kucherov is so in touch with, if the puck goes here, I need to be here. And the way that he thinks the game, I think, is maybe the best in the NHL. And that's what's really impressed me this season, is just his ability to find that open ice. It's a joy to watch, and I know we love talking about him, and everybody around here loves talking about him, but I don't know if people are paying enough attention to the season that Nikita Kucherov's having, because it's been phenomenal from the start. He's missed some games to injury, and I mean, you might have to check the game notes tomorrow, because there might be a headline called Kucherov, referring to the Art Ross Trophy, because we could very well be seeing a repeat season for Nikita Kucherov after leading the NHL in scoring last season, and to maybe repeat as the NHL scoring champion in the way the league is scoring these days, it's not a small feat, and we are definitely seeing one of the best players in the NHL, if not the best player in the NHL right now.
Ben, you talk about him seeing the ice. I feel like it's a fact that he is 5 steps ahead of everyone else out there. And prior to that second game against the Islanders, John Cooper spoke to the broadcast team of ESPN Plus, just pretty informally. They had a few questions for him. I always like to listen in. And Cooper just referenced, like, when I do video with the guys, it's not often because I have great assistant coaches that handle that for the most part. But I'll do video and I'll say, all right, look at this play. You see this, like, all right, you guys got it. Moving on. And he says, Cooch will say, oh, wait, Coop, can you rewind that? And he will go through it again. And John Cooper says he'll see something totally different that then Coop is like, yeah, Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. So, and he's just so smart the way he sees it ahead of everyone and can just predict these plays, knows where to be, knows how to put the puck there. Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. We say it time and time again, Ben, but he has been on quite a run recently, and it seems that it's coming at the exact time that you want it to come with the Tampa Bay Lightning approaching the playoffs. I'm just going to keep rolling, Ben, because this leads into our first question in the Blue Line segment. Please keep leaving your questions. You can always call us 813-301-6749. We love hearing from you. This question is from T-Strum. We have gotten questions from this individual in the past. They're always great. T-Strum wants to know, what are your thoughts of Kucherov's chances on winning the Art Ross and or the Hart Trophy? I've heard of him and McKinnon battling for the Art, but have not heard mention of Kucherov in talks of the Hart. So, right, just quick overview. Art Ross Trophy, given to the player who leads the NHL in scoring points at the end of the regular season. Right now, Kucherov has 111. McKinnon has 110, so he is in a position to win that trophy. And then the Hart is given to the player. Adjudged was the word in the definition there, Ben. Adjudged to be the most valuable to his team. Kucherov won the Art Ross last season and in 2019, won the Hart in 2019 as well. McKinnon has never won the Art Ross, won the Hart last season. What are your thoughts?
Well, the Art Ross is pretty defined, right? You have more points, you're going to take that one home.
Yes.
There's no voting on the Art Ross because it's strictly a statistical award. The Hart Trophy is so difficult for me because the phrasing of that award, like you said, is most valuable player.
To his team. Yep.
Right.
Most valuable to his team.
So theoretically, you should be looking at a player who is willing his team into contention basically on his own, who is having the biggest impact on his team's success. And I obviously love Nikita Kucherov. I think he's fantastic. But with the season, we've seen so many career seasons this year, and this is definitely not a slant on Kucherov, but the Lightning, you have to give credit to the Lightning, and we've said all season long, so many guys have played a part in this season and have been so big, have had career years, that yes, Nikita Kucherov is likely the Lightning's most valuable player because he's a top 5 player, a top 3 player, top 1 player in the NHL. That being said, this team has so many guys that on any given night you could say he was our most valuable player tonight. Whether it's Anthony Cirelli, Brandon Hagel, Victor Hedman, Jake Gensel, Braden Point,
Gazzy.
Right? So I don't think sometimes that Kucherov gets the NHL credit specifically for the Hart because people can go up and down the lineup and say they've got how many guys that are having future Hall of Fame-like seasons this season. And so that's going to probably hurt Kucherov in the Hart Trophy race. I still think he should be a finalist, but I would say that the Hart Trophy is probably a longer shot than the Art Ross, strictly because you add in outside voting and you never know. And good for the Lightning. So many guys have had phenomenal seasons that a guy like Nathan McKinnon, who was missing Nichushkin for a little bit and was missing some of his top supporting cast, is probably going to get more consideration for the Hart simply because it was more of a will your team into the race. Now Colorado has a quite talented defenseman named Cale Makar, who obviously is very, very good and always in the conversation for the Norris Trophy, which we're just going to throw another name in there so we can confuse people as much as possible, given to the best NHL defenseman. But, somebody like Leon Draisaitl, who is also up there. He's third in the NHL scoring race for Edmonton. Connor McDavid has missed some time this year, and Connor McDavid's had a lower season than people are accustomed to seeing. He's a guy who's probably going to be up there for the Hart Trophy because he's been kind of Edmonton's horse this season. And I think the Hart's going to be a little bit of a longer shot for Kuch, but he should for sure be in the conversation.
That was a really good point. You're right. this award is a bit trickier because it is open to interpretation, if you will, and it is a voting process. And yeah, that's a really good point, Ben. I really had not even thought of it that way. But that's something to consider when you think of that trophy now and in the future.
Give them both.
Yeah. Oh, give them both?
I mean, from a Lightning perspective, absolutely.
Oh, wow. That was good. Yeah. All right, moving on. We'll leave it there. Our next question is just a summary of what every single Tampa Bay Lightning fan wants to know. And I'm already putting it out there. We're going to disappoint you because there has been no news on our end. But everyone and their mother seems to be curious about the status of Isaac Howard. Ben, I hope I set you up for success here saying that we don't know anything new, but what you got for us on that topic?
Gabby's correct. We do not have an update on Isaac Howard signing with the Tampa Bay Lightning. There is no update, no new news. I know, obviously, last week's college signings had people excited, which it's always great to bring in young talent. I know they maybe weren't the name you were hoping for, but the Lightning added 2 phenomenal young talents, young names to the roster, or to the organization, I should say. And I know they're excited about those 2 players. That being said, today, Thursday, April 3rd, could still be quite a big day in the Isaac Howard realm. Now, for those of you who don't know, today is the day that the Hobie hat trick is announced. Those are the final 3 finalists. So top 3 finalists for the Hobie Baker Award given to the top player in all of NCAA college hockey. So, no, we do not have news on an Isaac Howard signing. However, depending on how things go today, you could still very likely see Isaac Howard's name floating around quite a bit today. And the Lightning are thrilled with the season that he's had at Michigan State. And I know everybody wants to see what's coming in the future, but hopefully we get to see Isaac Howard announced today as a top 3 finalist. The winner of the Hobie Baker Award will be announced next Friday, April 11th, and we will hope that Howard is Ike, as they lovingly dote him, is in that conversation.
Fingers crossed. I like it. See, that was a lovely update. Just probably not the one everyone wanted to hear.
Apologies. Stay tuned.
That was great, Ben. Okay, I think we're going to move on to our plus minus segment. Ben, do you want to start, or shall I start with my plus of the week?
I'm going to start, not to be rude, but because we kind of already touched on it.
Jump in.
My experience here with this playoff push has been so surreal for me, being a part of this. And like you said, joking about me on the NHL Standings webpage, and just seeing the energy around the room, and being part of the, walking into Amalie every day and seeing, just even in the office, kind of that renewed energy like you talked about. I think people are feeling it. It's my first one. It's been a season that has been a highlight of my life so far working in the NHL, and being able to experience a playoff push firsthand. You grow up dreaming that you'll be in the locker room playing for one of these pushes, and I think this is the second best thing for 12-year-old Ben Pierce. So really happy to be here and just get to experience what it's like in this NHL playoff push, and can't wait to see what's coming.
That was so lovely.
Perfect. Well, pressure's on now then, because it's your turn.
No, there's no pressure, because mine is just going to be so out of left field as per usual. But Ben, that was really nice to hear. And I feel that too, like I said, now in my 4th season. And it seems that every day just gets better. And with the playoff push here, it's amplified by 10. So
let's go.
I feel that way. I could say that as my plus every single week. So as to not do that, my plus, the Tampa Bay Lightning had a rare off day at home this past Sunday. I did take full advantage of it, Ben. I know that you were working. I know many of my coworkers were working as there were signings, et cetera, et cetera. I did not do a whole lot of work. I was out and about with my husband and our puppy. And then Sunday night, the big activity, which is the only show series we can watch together, because right now it comes out once a week. White Lotus, Sunday nights, 9:00. We watched the episode, Ben, the newest season. I said this to Chris Kren. Everyone knows and loves Chris Kren. I said that the episode, and I meant it in a good way. I don't know if this makes sense to you because he looked at me like I was crazy. Ben, the episode, it was the second to last one of the season, and the first one that like I felt like I needed to shower. Like it was like so good and weird and creepy, and like I was so in it that like I felt like I need to go like cleanse myself of whatever I just watched.
And it's not even the finale?
It was a great episode. It was not the finale. Ooh. I keep seeing it all over social media online that like, how are they going to wrap this thing up in one episode? Because there are like so many crazy things going on. But it was a really great episode and a great way to end my Sunday day off in Tampa. That's my
love
plus.
it. As soon as you said day off, I'm like, White Lotus. As soon as you said day off, I'm like, I know exactly where this is going.
There are a lot of things that I could have pulled from that low-key Sunday. And again, I just had to change it up. Not make it hockey. Sorry, guys, if you hate that. Because, again, like I said, I could make something hockey my plus every single week. But
true.
Keeping it interesting for you. Ben, what's your minus?
Okay. My minus, other than not getting to see the broadcast, including Gabby Shirley for yesterday's game, I'll ignore that. But I did think that PK Subban was on a heater last night in a good way. And related, my minus is going to be, I don't know if the average NHL fan is giving enough credit to Nikita Kucherov. And I know we just had the Hart conversation. Why is nobody talking about the season Nikita Kucherov is having? Like, the fact that you've got a guy who has a very real chance to repeat as the Art Ross Trophy winner, leading the NHL in scoring. He missed multiple games to injury, and he's still leading the NHL in scoring. He's up there in even strength scoring, so he's not just poaching a bunch of points on the power play. He's a top 4 player in even strength scoring this season. He had back-to-back 4-point games this week. Why is nobody talking about this guy? And even like you turn on NHL Network and you see different things, and deservedly so, everybody loves Coach John Cooper, and they love giving credit to Coop, as is deserved. Can we give some credit to Nikita Kucherov, please? Like around the world, around the league, can we give this guy some love? Because I don't think he's getting enough of it right now, and that's my minus. Let's put some respect on Nikita Kucherov's name, please, because this is a guy that's going to retire, and you're going to look back and be like, instant Hall of Famer. And you're going to look back and be like, man, I wish I could have seen that guy play. And he's playing right now. He's at his absolute best. That, you know, he's among the best players in the league. Let's give some more credit to Kuch. I don't know if we're doing that enough around the league.
Ben, I can see our fan base just clipping your little rant right there and just playing it for all to hear nonstop. In my time with the team, Ben, I feel that has been a bit of a theme, a frustrating theme, and I don't have an answer for it aside from just some out there guesses like hockey in Florida.
Yeah.
Is Tampa Bay just still not a big enough hockey market?
Can you imagine if this guy was playing in Montreal or Edmonton? You would never stop hearing Nikita Kucherov's name.
Correct. Yes. I don't know, Ben, like you kind of said, just him having superstars around him in Andrei Vasilevsky, Victor Hedman, it was Steven Stamkos, you know? And then third and finally, which we all know, Ben, but he's not out there in the media all the time. I just know being on like the local news side, when you highlight a player, like you want to toss to a soundbite from said player. I mean, we ask John Cooper and his teammates enough about him, but I don't know if that has something to do with it, that people just don't know where to go with it because they don't have a quote to lean on, or he said this, let's discuss what he meant. Right. I don't know. There's so many things.
Even further than that, though, even outside of Kucherov, and now you got me all riled up now when you brought up Vasilevsky. Everybody is talking about how Connor Hellebuck is a shoo-in for the Vezina. And all due respect, Andrei Vasilevsky has... Nobody's talking about the season Vasi's having. And everybody was talking last year when he was having a quote-unquote down season. Is this the end of the great run of Andrei Vasilevsky? Absolutely not. Why is nobody talking about the other side of that season when he's one of the best, if not the best, goalie in the NHL?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we give the Tampa Bay Lightning some credit? Come on. That's my minus. I'll let you go now that I'm done just yelling into my microphone. But give me a break, man.
It's so good. It's so good. Again, my minus will not compete with you. But you did mention just missing my beautiful voice on the Lightning broadcast.
All right, different phrasing, but yes. Okay, anyways.
The game was a national game, Ben, so my duties are lessened a bit as far as covering the game goes. I still do, and I did some radio interviews, which was just lovely. Mwah. But I did a Ask Me Anything on Instagram yesterday. I'm trying to be better at social media, Ben. I've talked about it before. Our coworker, Stephen Buck, who is closer to your age, a lot younger than me, really pumps me up when I do something that perhaps just if I was a couple years younger, I'd be better at. So I knew I was on the right track with my Ask Me Anything on Instagram, just asking people for questions and answering them. But Ben, I was told by my social media wizard friend that I had to, rather than just typing a lovely answer on an Instagram story, which is very easy, I had to set up the camera and talk to it. I mean, I'm talking to it right now, but I'm talking to you. I almost missed the bus because I was talking about my pregame meal 25 times and couldn't get it right. And I was going too long and I was rambling and I was looking weird and it was a disaster. So my minus is that I'm old and social media, doing things that everyone else is doing is just not coming easy to me, but I'm really trying. I am
Gabby,
really
Shirley the
trying.
vlogger. I love it.
It was a disaster.
That's fair. Steve Carney, our producer, also just texted me to remind me that John Cooper's never won the Jack Adams as the best coach in the NHL, which is also an absolute joke. Okay, I promise I'm done ranting now, but what are we doing here, guys? Come on.
Ben's rant is so legit, and I'm just upset about my social media inabilities.
Hey, vloggers deserve love too. Come on now.
Inabilities. Okay, well then, moving on. The question corner segment, where we give away signed Tampa Bay Lightning pucks. Okay, apparently we had a lot of winners for the first question, the old question. How many block shots does Ryan McDonagh record on Tuesday, April 1st against the New York Islanders? The answer was 2, bringing him to a total of 2,001 block shots in his NHL career. Ben, we have a winner, correct? Do you remember the name?
Our winner is Keith.
Keith!
We love it. We love it. I believe a first-time winner on the Into the Blue podcast, which shows you submit your answers. You got a shot here.
Keith, congratulations. I do feel like we've answered questions from Keith, so maybe he does tune in frequently, but if Keith is a first-time guesser, first-time winner, we love it. Congratulations. Ben, do you want to read rules and regs before we get to the new question of the week?
Absolutely. So, each Thursday morning during the 2024-25 Tampa Bay Lightning regular season, as the Into the Blue podcast is released, we're giving you a chance to win an autographed puck from a Lightning player. During the show, we will pose a statistical question related to the subsequent week's upcoming games, and you will have until Sunday night of that week to get your guess in as to what the correct answer will be. You can respond to our post on X from the Bolts Radio account or email radio@tampabaylightning.com. We will pick one winner at random from all the correct entries. No purchase or payment is necessary, and restrictions will apply. You can visit tampabaylightning.com/intothebluerules for full rules, prize description, odds, and other info, and that is void where prohibited.
Good job. You really had that ready to roll.
We're ready to rock.
Okay, new question, which I created before I even heard Ben's rant. So this really is just perfect. We're going to keep going in on Nikita Kucherov. So the new question is, how many total points will Nikita Kucherov have in the next 4 games? And Ben, I actually meant to talk to you about this before we started recording, but there is a game on Wednesday. So I'm just assuming that we let that game go and we either record the podcast late Wednesday night or early Thursday morning. Is that fine with you?
I'm good with that.
Okay, so I am including that fourth game, which is the first game of the 4-game homestand for the Tampa Bay Lightning to finish off this regular season. So, how many total points will Nikita Kucherov have in the next 4 games? The number, it's probably going to be big.
It's probably going to be big. And don't look now, but Nikita Kucherov is 16 points from 1,000 in the NHL, which, for the average player, you're not getting there in 8 games. But there is a real shot we see that happen. So,
how many points away? 16.
I mean, the guy just had back-to-back 4-point games. He could do it in 4 games if he wanted to at that rate.
Yeah, he really could. You know what, Ben? That fun fact was brought to my attention last night, and I had no idea. That's amazing.
Yeah, so we're excited to hear how many points you guys think Nikita Kucherov will have in the next 4 games. If anybody's bold enough to go 16, I will be very impressed. But we are excited to hear your guesses and appreciate you guys tuning in as always.
Yeah, it was another great episode, Ben. Thank you for joining me early in the morning. I know you have to get to Amalie Arena. I am going to, I don't know, maybe go back to bed because I had a late night last night flying in from New York to Ottawa. We'll see what the day has in store for me. No Tampa Bay Lightning practice on this Wednesday. So
love it. Go find some good food.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Maybe good coffee.
I am hungry.
All right, get after it.
Follow the Lightning Audio Network on social media @Bolts Radio. And don't forget to hit subscribe in your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode of Into the Blue.